Now, over the years of running, whether it be racing or training, my running specific head torch of choice has been the brilliant FENIX HM65R-T, a super solid, well manufactured, bright, long lasting, dependable head torch that's never let me down in any situation, whether it be running at night on a challenging winter training run or going all the way through a nighttime section in a tough ultra marathon. It's never let me down, and it's always the head torch that I reach for. However, things might be changing because recently, over the last couple of months, I've been testing out their new HP12R-T trail running head torch, and I've been really impressed with the performance. Now, this is the first light from the FENIX brand that I've ever tested that has the head unit and the battery pack separate, so it spreads that weight a little bit more evenly, and it's even got a handy flashing red safety light on the back of it. So let's dive into the video and tell you all about the new and exciting HP12R-T trail running head torch. Welcome back everyone, hope you are all fit and well out there in YouTube world. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure, your friendly, informative, running related YouTube channel. Now, I hate to say it, but we are rapidly approaching that time of year where the nights start to draw in, and as runners we're scrambling around for our gloves, warm hats, leggings, long sleeve base layers, running jackets, and obviously blowing the dust off our head torches and charging up the batteries. So I thought it was perfect timing to give you guys at home our review on the new FENIX HP12R-T. So the way we're going to do the video is I'm going to break it down into sections. So first up, I'm going to show you what comes inside the box. Then we're going to break down the new construction in a bit more detail. And then I'm going to tell you all about the sort of features and performance of the unit before wrapping up with a quick conclusion, letting you know how the head torch has performed over the last couple of months of testing. So let's get this box open and show you what's inside. So firstly, you have the FENIX warranty card on top, and the unit actually comes with a 5-year warranty, which is pretty impressive, and you even get a 1-year warranty on the rechargeable battery. We also get a really handy little user's manual. Obviously, we've got the head torch unit itself, and inside the battery case there, we have a 4000 milliamp rechargeable battery that comes with the unit. FENIX also throw in a spare O-ring, and we have the USB-C charging cable. As far as the all-important price goes, you can pick up the HP12R-T off the FENIX website for £99.95 here in the UK. Construction up next, and the main light unit is constructed out of a high grade aluminium. So one, to keep the weight down to a bare minimum, but also aluminium is good at sort of heat dissipation. So it will get rid of that heat, which is super important when you're using such a powerful head torch. When it comes to the battery pack on the back, that is constructed out of a high grade durable plastic with a metal liner, and I've got to say it really does look very well manufactured. So I'm sure it's going to hold up to all the wear and tear that we put our running head torches through. Last up, the head strap is elasticated, fully adjustable. It's made out of a nice soft fabric, and it is covered in lots of small perforations just to help out when it comes to breathability. We've also got a lot of high-vis detailing on there for safer nighttime running. And then at the front, FENIX have added this silicone gripper, so that's hopefully going to stop any movement of the head torch while you're running. Now, if you are familiar with the FENIX trail running head torch range, you might have noticed that the HP12R-T has a slightly different headband setup, and that comes down to the fact of the design. So having the light on the front and the battery pack at the back, it means that you don't get that brilliant and very clever sort of boa style adjustment wheel on the strap, which I'm a big fan of. You know, I think that makes it super easy to make any micro adjustments when you're out there on the move. And you know, I totally understand why it doesn't come on this unit because of this design, but I think it is a bit of a shame that we haven't got it. Moving on to functions and features, and this new FENIX Headtorch is packed full of them. And the first one I'm going to talk about is something that I really love to have on my running head torch, and that is the fact that it comes with two different lighting outputs. So the first one is the white beam for sort of normal running situations, but you've also got a neutral white light that's going to work great if you're out there running in heavy rain or foggy conditions, because the color of the light really cuts through or penetrates when you're running in those types of conditions. And both of them can be operated individually or combined just using the easy to reach big textured buttons on top of the head unit. And also, now that we've got this split design, you also get a red LED safety light on the back of the battery case. Now, you can have this as a constant red light, or you can set it up to be flashing depending on what you want. And this was definitely a feature that was missing from the HM65R-T. It's also a feature that FENIX Headtorch users have been asking for some time. So it's great to see that the brand is listening to its customers. And also on the back of that battery case is an indicator. So a quick push on the power button, and that's going to let you know how much life you've got left in your rechargeable battery. And speaking of batteries, like I mentioned a bit earlier, the unit comes with a very powerful 4000 milliamp rechargeable battery, ensuring that you're going to get good burn times in all settings. And we'll get onto performance a little bit later in the video. Other lighting features, you also get a red light, which is great for sort of close proximity lighting, especially if you're within a group of people. And I think this is a great feature to have on your head torch. And again, one that was missing on the HM65R-T. That red light can also be in SOS mode, so if you activate it, it's going to flash out SOS in Morse code just in case you do happen to get into any difficulties. The head unit comes with 60 degrees of tilt, so you can get that light angle set up to your personal requirements. And built into the light unit is an intelligent memory circuit. So that means that the light's going to remember the last output you used. And we've also got overheat protection technology. So this gets activated at 60 degrees C, and the torch is going to lower the light output until it cools down. So really good features worked into the unit. And FENIX have also put in two lockout features. So we've got one that's electrical, one that's mechanical. So if you hold down the two top buttons for 3 seconds, that's going to lock the light off. But we've also got this guard that runs across the buttons as well. And like I said, I think these are super important things to have on a running head torch, because the last thing you want to do is to reach into your running vest, pulling out your head torch as you head off into a challenging nighttime section, go to switch it on and find out that it's turned on in your bag by accident, and now your battery is completely flat. So like I said, a lockout mode, super important on your running head torch, and it's great that we get two of them on the HP12R-T. And last but not least, the unit has been drop tested from a height of 2 meters, and it comes with an IP66 waterproof rating. So making sure that this running head torch can be used in the toughest of weather conditions. But like I was saying, you can see it is a unit packed full of functions and features, and I think I've remembered them all. But moving on to performance figures, so lighting output and battery life, and the HP12R-T comes with some impressive stats. Starting off with the white beam first, and there is 4 modes to choose from. So we've got the low setting at 5 lumens, medium setting at 70 lumens. So neither of them are going to be bright enough for running with, but they might come in handy if you're camping, taking the dog for a walk, or in any emergency situations. And then moving on to the high setting at 350 lumens. Now, I think this is the sweet spot when it comes to running head torches. So a bright enough light for most running situations, but not too bright that it's going to drain your battery quickly. And then last but not least, we have the turbo mode, and this is a very bright 1000 lumens. So it's going to give you a quick burst of bright light to get you out of any difficult situations. Moving on to the neutral white beam, and like I mentioned, this is the mode that's going to be perfect if you're out there running in rainy or foggy conditions, just because it penetrates a bit better. So this time round, we've only got 3 modes to choose from. So you've got the low setting of 70 lumens, medium of 200 lumens, and then the high setting of 500 lumens. Like I mentioned before, you can have the lights on independently, or you can combine them, and there's 2 settings to choose from there. So low at 70 lumens, but you've also got the crazy bright turbo setting of 1300 lumens that's going to give you a beam length of 200 meters. So definitely bright enough to light up the path ahead. So there you have it, folks, the latest trail running head torch to come from the guys at FENIX. Now, we've talked about the unit's construction and about all the impressive features that have been packed into this small running head torch, but now it's time to dive into how it's performed over the last couple of months of testing. And I suppose the question is this HP12R-T going to replace my very much trusted HM65R-T, which has been my go-to running head torch for the last 2 or 3 years? The first thing we have to talk about is this new split design. So I personally think this is a great move by the brand, and it's what was missing in their trail running head torch lineup, and I think it was really needed. Now, the unit and the rechargeable batteries tips the scales at 201 grams, so it is roughly around 60 grams heavier than the HM65R-T, but because we got the light up front and the battery at the back, it really does distribute that weight nice and even. And not that I had an issue with the HM65R-T, I found that a very comfortable head torch to wear, but like I was saying, because that weight is distributed a bit more evenly at the front and the back of the head, even though this is a heavier unit, I personally think it actually feels lighter than the HM65R-T once you've got it on your head and you're running. Also, I've mentioned it several times before in other head torch reviews we've done on the channel, I'm a big fan of having 2 different lighting modes to choose from. Now, I remember back in the day when I first started running out on the trails at night, and I had a pretty basic unit, and there was a couple of times I got caught out in heavy rain and real sort of dense fog, and the head torch was pretty much useless and I could hardly see where I was going. So now we've got that neutral white light option. It's great at penetrating through those conditions, and I personally think it's one of those features that we don't really think we need on our running head torches until we've used it and we've seen how well it works. So this is something that I always look for now in my running head torches. So just like all the other models of FENIX head torches I've ever tested out over the years, the build quality of the HP12R-T is second to none. Top manufacturing, you know, everything is finished off to the highest standard, all the buttons feel nice and solid, and everything has that sort of mechanical click to it, and nothing feels flimsy or cheap. And I can definitely vouch for the build quality of FENIX head torches I've used over the years. They really have been bomb proof for me, and I'm pretty sure the HP12R-T is going to be no different. And then finally, let's talk all about lumens and battery life, because the figures with the HP12R-T have been pretty impressive, and I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that you get a 4000 milliamp rechargeable battery with the unit. So the light outputs are very bright, and like I've already mentioned, I think for me the sweet spot has to be the white beam on that high setting of 350 lumens, and that's probably the mode I've used the most throughout testing. Now, FENIX quote figures of around about 16 hours of burn time at that setting and a beam length of 98 meters, which sounds very impressive. Obviously, the figures that head torch manufacturers throw out when it comes down to burn time have to be taken with a small pinch of salt, because they've tested out the unit under lab conditions and not out there in the real running world where temperatures and lots of other things come into play. So I would say I've been getting around 10 to 12 hours with the unit set on the white beam high setting of 350 lumens before I've needed to charge it up again. So not quite the 16 hours that FENIX quoted, but still a really good burn time. And speaking of charging, super simple to do. So just unplug the port on the back, plug in the USB-C cable that comes with the unit, leave it to charge, and there you go. And I would say it's been taking roughly around 3 hours to go from 0 to fully charged. So all in all, super happy with the new HP12R-T and its performance, and I think FENIX have just produced another great running head torch to add to their already existing brilliant trail running lineup. I also think it highlights the fact that it's a brand that really does listen to its customers, and they just want to produce the best running head torches on the market. So I suppose we should answer that big question: is this new unit going to replace my very much loved and trusted HM65R-T from now on? And I guess the answer is a big yes, because the HP12R-T has everything I could possibly ever need from my running head torch. And on that bombshell, it brings today's review video to an end. Really hope you've enjoyed it. Really hope you found it helpful in some way. Don't forget, if you have, to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Really is a big help to the channel. Super simple to do just by clicking on the little red box down there in the corner. But best of all, it is completely free. And while you're there, why not hit that bell icon, because then you'll be notified when we upload any new exciting running content. I've left a link for the FENIX website down in the description below in case you want to check out this unit or any of their other head torches within their range in a bit more detail. Gotta say a big thanks to FENIX for sending out the unit for the purpose of testing and this video. This has been the first sort of head torch content we've had on the channel for a while, but keep your eyes peeled. There is going to be more head torch videos heading your way very soon, with us rapidly approaching, and I don't like to say it, but we are rapidly approaching winter. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. It's always appreciated. We'll be back on the channel very soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running. And obviously, now that we've got this sort of split design, we also get a flashing, not flashing. It can be flashing, it can be constant. It's a red LED light. And we've got the USB-C charging cable as well. So I can't remember. But now we're going to move on to the all-important performance figures. And, you know, the HP12R-T